What's going on, y'all? This is Mike Brown of The Art of Letting Go, and I want to welcome y'all to this week's episode of the show. While I have your attention, this month is Merch Madness, and we are winding down to the end of it. So you know what that means? If you go to the website, you use the code MADNESS, all caps, you get 30% off your orders. That's off everything on the website, 30% off. Go to www.theartoflettinggopodcast.com and get your merch now. Enjoy the show. Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Today, I have a special guest in the building. As I was telling you before, I heard about you, and not necessarily you personally, but your organization coming to Los Angeles. And when I got the email to have you on the podcast, I was really excited. But today's guest is the Deputy Director for Mobilizing Our Brothers Initiative, which is MOBI, and also the Associate Director for GLAAD, for Communities of Color. And would you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yes, for sure. What's up, everybody? My name is Julian J. Walker, and I'm really excited to be on today. Mike is really I'm really excited to be in conversation with you.
I appreciate that, and the same. How are you doing today? How are you feeling today?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's kind of weird because I'm usually the one that kind of beats everybody to that question, and so um, I'm doing good actually. Like today is a really good day. You know,
Yeah.
I began to start just trying to set intentions in the morning and not like these like huge moments or shifting moments for myself, but it's just like waking up every morning and saying like whether it's like I pray that today is going to be a great day, or it's just today like speaking it like today is going to be a good day, so today I chose to wake up, and well, I didn't choose, I woke up and I chose to believe that today will be a good day, and it's been pretty good thus far. How
That's
about you?
I'm doing really good today. And honestly, in the last couple of weeks, I've just been doing and feeling good. I have a morning routine as well, similar to yours, where I start with prayer, I meditate, and really and journal as well, but really just try to set my intentions for the day and just set myself up for success for the day. And not even necessarily like professional success, but just I know these things make me feel good. At least my
Yeah.
habit and my pattern has shown me that starting my day like this every day makes me feel good. And when I don't do it, it doesn't. So it's like, even on those days when I don't feel like it, sometimes it's that little shift that will help me in feeling good for the day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's almost like well, it's not almost like it's so much going on up here, like in your mind and in your head, like I personally believe that that's the biggest battle, and the challenge that we face. And so it's just like, when you set those intentions of being like, or just creating those routines of being like, okay, if I want to feel good throughout the day, let me at least like begin my day in a like great way. Like I love music,
Yeah.
and like literally every morning I wake up and I listen to music. It's crazy because I like in 2017 I started creating like these like playlists, and so it's like a
Okay.
playlist for the year, like so if I hear a good song, if I hear something, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna add this to my 2017 playlist. So so literally like I've been doing it since 2017, and it's like and now it's kind of branched out into like a gospel playlist, a playlist to
Yeah.
relax, elevate. So it's like I have all these moments of like what's the energy I want to get in. So it's like waking up every morning, listening to music, and like just setting that intention. So I'm
That's
happy.
that's really dope, and that's also crazy because around that same time for me, I was making monthly playlists of like songs I would hear throughout the
Ah,
month. and just putting them together and saying like, okay, this is January. And then I started getting a little creative, giving them names like it's gonna be May, you know.
Yes, come on.
And now I'm starting to be a little more intentional about it. I've been creating a playlist every week called Music for Self Healers. So like just for people to
Wow.
listen to, and you know, music that motivates me, inspires me, and you know, wherever people at in their journeys, just kind of give them that. So that's really dope to hear. And it's so dope because when I read your bio, I felt really connected to a lot of your journey, especially your creative journey, because for so much of my life, I've used my art as a way to express myself, even when I wasn't fully expressive with my sexuality. Like my art was a place for me to create that. But I would love to hear like just how you got started on like your creative journey.
Um, I I would say, like at heart, I've always been like a creative. Like my earliest memory of
Yeah.
like life of existence, it's like it has some form of like music in it. It has some form of television in it, like cartoons. It has some form of like my imagination of playing with my toys and like creating storylines. Like my journey into creativity definitely started at a younger age, and I'm very fortunate and thankful that I had um parents that allowed me to like explore that creativity.
Yeah. Where you from?
Originally, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
so
dope.
family from Mississippi. Also have some family in like Cleveland and Texas and Georgia. So it's like, but the root, like my grandmother's and majority of everyone is in Mississippi. So, um, and my father was in the military. So it's like half of my the early half of my childhood, I like lived in Germany and
Oh,
lived in Texas.
wow.
Like, so I think also at a younger age, traveling the world, and then being creative and seeing that, the world was so much bigger than Jackson, Mississippi,
Yeah.
or, but always having the opportunity to go back, like eventually we moved back to Jackson and I went to like school and stuff. But I think all of those factors helped me like explore my creativity more. I think the minute I became I can't think of the word, but it's like the minute I became aware, I guess,
Yeah.
and I realized like there's a journey in your mind too. I think that was like my biggest challenge when it came to my creativity of like
Yeah.
um yeah, but yeah, growing up, I was in like talent shows. I would sing everywhere. My uncle and aunt owned like a barbershop in Mississippi. I would be up in there just singing. Like I would be like I loved it growing up. So like in high school, I was in like the choir and different um like drama things and stuff like that. So yeah, it was yeah, I've always at heart been a creative.
That's really dope. That's really dope. And growing up in the South, what was your journey like of inviting people in to your sexuality?
So I would say I'm thankful because to an extent I've always been me. And I've always had this idea in my head of like um I can be who I want to be. But it wasn't until like honestly, I remember the first time it was like we were in Germany. I was in like probably like kindergarten, first, second, one of those grades. And I because of my expression and who I am, I was introduced to, like those homophobic like slurs and stuff like that. And, that's when like that awareness of like, wait, what, like, what? I'm different. I'm this and that, it's like that was that exploration, but it's like I've always wanted to stay true to who I am,
Yeah.
so it's like even in like in the South. Like going through middle school, going through high school and college, like I'm very thankful because I don't know, I just felt like I've been protected. Um in terms of like, like, and not saying that, I haven't come across folks who's made me feel really uncomfortable
For
or
sure.
like it just made me feel really uncomfortable because of who I am and what someone has said, towards me. But it's like it always goes back to me like I want to be me. Like I don't want to like suffocate myself or suffocate my existence to make someone else happy because it's like when I go home at the end of the day, it's just me,
Yeah.
so am I then only allowing myself to be free and explore and be who it is that I want to be, or like will I give myself the opportunity to each day, no matter what space I'm in, allow myself to show up in my most authentic self? And it's like I think growing up, I was like on the early stages of understanding that and wanting that. But it's like now as an adult, I'm truly finding myself still with the idea of exploring my identity as a
Yeah.
black man or as a black queer individual or like I'm still exploring my identity. There's still things that I find that are, more so uncomfortable within myself. But um yeah, it's just been, and then thankful for my parents, like, and my brother and aunts and uncles. Like I had individuals in my family who identified, not that I knew at that time, but I think
Yeah.
that like them knowing kind of nurtured me and allowed me to be, and so but yeah, it's still like, there still definitely have been times where it's just been like a bit more difficult than I would have liked it to been, but in this journey of my life in this season, it's like I don't want those moments to define the person I want to become, you know?
Of
So
course.
I try not to even like I try to in therapy, excuse me, but in therapy I try to work through those, but it's like showing up each and every day. I try to always just focus on the like, okay, everything's gonna be good. Everything's gonna be good, So yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, yeah, and I fully understand that because man, I feel like everybody when I was ready to be open with family and friends, they were all very accepting and almost like you said, very overprotective of me. And my whole journey has been me navigating this and like being more open with myself. Like it wasn't even about being open with other people. It's just like really trying to define what does it mean to be a black queer man for me?
Yeah.
Because, I feel like for a long time, just, growing up and not being around, I grew up in Houston. So I didn't really, yeah, I wasn't really around a lot of queer people at all,
Mm.
so most of my life was spent in denial of even being gay just because it's like, I play sports. I'm masculine. I don't see anybody else is doing this. And recognizing as an adult is like you can do all of this and be a queer person. And I think that's why it's so valuable for me to just not even redefine, but just add to the definition of what it
Yeah.
means to be a queer black man. Cause we aren't all one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like that's a journey that you gotta, or not speak so general, but that's a journey that I too, have to do,
Yeah.
is understand what is best for me in terms of like my identity, in terms of like my exploration within my identity and who it is that, who it is that I want to become, or, how I want to show up for the day. Like that's definitely for me. And it's like if I were to allow um how I show up in my journey within my queerness based on others, it's like I don't know what that would look like, but it's like I don't want to experience that because it's like I feel good. I feel like I can breathe,
Yeah.
you know, like um because I'm really I try to incorporate in all of my work that I do, like, mental health aspects because that's been a big journey of my own of, like because when I use the example of, like, I can breathe, it's like I know what depression feels like,
Yeah.
and there's a level of heaviness to it where you feel like it's suffocating you. You feel like, like, you in your house, you in your room, but that room feel like the only box that exists in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, it can get really difficult, it can get really heavy, so it's like, if we already gotta go through that journey within ourselves, like, then allowing other people to have a say so on our journey too, like, that's too heavy. That's
Yeah.
too much weight to carry, like, and understanding and trusting that it's okay that I don't have to carry everything. It's okay that I can take my time with everything. I think that's the biggest gift, that you can give yourself.
I agree. How do you take care of your mental health now? Like in present day?
I would definitely say music, like playing music, and I read off and on. I heard on your podcast that you were that you were reading. I don't know if you're done yet, but it was Bell Hooks Love
Yes, All
about
About Love. I haven't
all
finished it
about
yet,
love.
but yes, yes.
So I'm also reading that book.
Oh,
Which
wow.
yes.
Wow.
So let me tell you, like, I came to LA for something. I can't remember. But it's for well, actually I do remember. So with GLAAD, we're creating a Black Queer Creative Summit in Los Angeles. Um and so more details on that to come. Oops.
Yeah.
But we were in Los Angeles, like, planning, like, scouting and looking around for, like, locations and stuff, and, we went to this thing at Soho House, the warehouse one, and so the book was there, like, just there, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is this? This is" oh, it just drew me to it, and a friend of mine that I was with was like, "Oh my god, that book is great, like, read it. It's life-changing, this and that, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "Okay." So, like, I bought it literally probably that night or the next day, and so since then, I've been, like, taking my time reading it. I've had to put it down a couple times because I felt like
Yes.
that she was telling me, too much about myself. And
Yeah,
I
it's a really heavy read.
Yeah.
And I read the first chapter, had to go back and read it again just because I was like,
Mhm.
man, like I took in so much that I needed to just reinterpret what I had read. And man, it really seems like a guide to the ultimate level of self-care, like
Yes.
self-love.
Yeah. Like, it's so beautiful. It's really beautiful just to, like, pick up and put down, but so, like, I read sometimes, and honestly, in the past, like, journaling was, like, a big thing, like, a big
Yeah.
intentional thing that I did, which birthed, like, my poetry book that I wrote, and, even inspired, like, my music that I release. And so, like, journaling is always something that I'm thinking about in this season right now. Like, I feel the push of, like, "Hey, you need to journal," but I have been fighting it a little bit, so that's probably not the best. But yeah, in terms of mental health, that's how I nurture myself in these seasons. But I think I definitely have to rework my schedule, like, rework my routine that now fits my schedule,
Yeah.
or me in this season of my life.
I feel that. Something that came up for me just now, because I know you mentioned like creating for your mental health. How do you separate the idea of, because just being a creative, I know a lot of times for us the things that we create is like, okay, I have to release this, I have to do this. But how do you accept the idea of like, maybe this was just for me? This doesn't have to exist anywhere, but just exist.
Honestly, I felt that about my EP I just released in November of 22. Um, because I started working on it in 2020.
Okay.
Um, like, during the pandemic and all that stuff, and, like, for a while, it was done. Like, it was I could release it, I could do all that, but it's like in that season, I was like, nah, this is just for me right now.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a way of me coping with my mental health. Like I couldn't. There was no other way for me to release like what I was feeling unless it was in that form of release.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, for like I even still now, I'm like, oh my god, I wish I just had it. You know, because when you do release it, you have to, well, when you do release it, it's just out in the world for, everyone to offer their opinions, everyone to offer their say so, everyone to offer whatever they want to offer. And it's like, I would definitely say that, you know, if you have some art, if you have something, you're creative, you have something that, one day I want to release this. But if you feeling anxious, if you feeling like it's not the right time, it's like, it's okay. It's not the right time. Like if you need to push it back, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like release it when you know that you have the tools to support your mental health while it's out there for the world to, have it say so on.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that would be, I think for me right now, that's how it is. Like, I hold on to what I need to hold on to. And it's like what I feel comfortable with releasing. It's like, that's what I release. And, that's the best thing that works for me, And so, yeah, yeah, I think.
No, I like that.
It's James Woods, aka that yoga dude, would feel free to feel free. Whole lot on my mind, a whole lot of reasons to speed up, worry, lose focus, react. But I'm breathing, relaxing, refocusing, and allowing myself the choice to choose calm, peace, serenity, joy, fun, taking one breath at a time. Letting go of what no longer needs to be here. And being present and peaceful with each and every moment. Allowing my shoulders to relax, my face to soften, my chest to open, my arms and legs to be still, and my heart to be calm. As we breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy your day. And as always, feel free to feel free. And namaste. Peace.
And I was also curious, like, just how do you find the balance between the work that you do with like GLAAD and MOBI, and also still pursuing, because I saw that you were doing acting and also doing music. So it's like, how do you find the balance in the pursuit of all of those things?
Um, I think it's grace, like allowing myself to understand that if I have to put something down, it's okay. Not thinking that, no, I'm gonna run out of time with wanting to do it, or beating myself up because I can't dedicate enough time to it. So like, and I think the mental health aspect works, like ties into that too, because it's like you got to, like, even in the midst of whatever is on your plate, like you still got to make time for you. And I think for me in this season, it's like, if let's say like I started like working on some like 12 and noon, and if honestly by 6 p.m. if I want to take a break or stop, I will give myself that. I'll say, okay. And what does my day look like? If I want to be like, okay, I want to relax and give myself mentally a break for the rest of the evening. It's like, okay, let me look at my schedule for tomorrow. Let me see what I can push into tomorrow and or wake up earlier to do. But it's like I just try to prioritize, even in the midst of everything that I'm doing, I try to prioritize like my mental first. It's like because I wanna like I'm a very and I'm okay with saying this now. I'm a sensitive person, you
Me
know?
too.
I am. And you know, that's okay. Like that is okay. Like, I'm not like a silly or dumb person by being sensitive, but like I'm aware of my I can be vulnerable. I can allow myself to be vulnerable enough to say that I am a sensitive person. And I want to receive like what I give
Yeah.
in terms of like if I would want someone to approach me a certain way, if I would want someone to give me a certain kind of energy, if I would want someone to just come at me, period, any kind of way, it's like I want to ensure that I'm one extending that same kind of energy out. So yeah, it's I just really try to be intentional with prioritizing my mental health.
That's what's
'Cause
up.
if not, because it is a lot, and I can I can honestly say that, but, you know, it's okay. It's, like, just prioritizing my mental health in the midst of it is honestly what keeps me afloat.
Yeah, I love that. And speaking of mental health, I would love to transition to what you are doing with MOBI. So for the listeners that aren't familiar with MOBI, and like I told you before, a friend sent me the invite for Los Angeles, and I saw it and I was excited about it. And then that second thought in my mind was like, oh, I'm not gonna fit in here. But again, like I said, you reaching out was just further confirmation for me to be there and be in the space. So I really appreciate that. But I would love for you to explain like what Mobi is exactly.
For sure, and you're definitely welcome. So MOBI stands for Mobilizing Our Brothers Initiative, and, it was created in 2017 by Deshaun Usher. And so in 2017, we had like two main programmings just happening in like the New York boroughs. And so we would have like Moby Talks, which is like a personal and professional development series for Black gay men. And so we would have like these conversations in like in Bronx or Harlem or Brooklyn, and eventually like branched out to Jersey also. But we would have these conversations and invite like Black gay men who are like doing things or like whose story can be of inspiration to guests. Like we would invite them into a space to kind of give like a TED Talk style convo, and then
Yeah.
we like throw in like performances and stuff like that by people from the community. And so honestly, it kind of expand and grew into like on YouTube now we have like a Moby Talks digital series, which explores sexuality, mental health, and family. So like those, and they're all created and edited by Laquan Dawson, who's our videographer, director, visual director for Moby. And so yeah, like Moby Talks really then also expanded into like different cities. Like we've been able to go to Houston. Did one in Houston last February.
Wow.
We did one in Atlanta. We're coming to LA. Then we're going to go to DC. And so yeah, it's just these beautiful spaces of just individuals coming together and networking, and honestly just it creates an opportunity for people to say, wow, like I can do whatever I put my mind to. It's like that feeling that like that feeling that just inspired, I guess. And so like that's the energy that Moby Talks gives. But this year we're doing it a little bit different with like more so like a community conversation. So we like sent out like invites and stuff and wanted individuals to come in. It will be hosted by Surface Level Podcast. Um, and so they're just basically gonna lead the guests on a open conversation that everybody can chat about. And what's even really cool about this LA Moby Talks is I'm actually performing.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm like working through that too of like what that's gonna look like. But yeah, I'm performing for the first for songs off my EP for the first time. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. So I mean, that's not like a nudge for anyone that's listening. Head over to mobi-nyc.com and type on Moby Talks and register for Moby Talks LA. I mean, I'm not saying that's why you should do that, but you have the direction and notes there now. So but like so that's like the Moby Talks experience. And then we also have Moby Fest, which is a music festival that we host in June in New York City every year. And so yeah, Moby Fest is wild. Oh my gosh. So it's like a 3-day festival where we have like a kickoff event for the community, and then we have like a queer art show, like
Wow.
featuring nothing but like Black queer art. And then we have a music festival. This year, actually, I got on Instagram and I saw the save the date for Moby Fest, so I can say this. Moby Fest will take place June 8th through the 10th.
Man, I'm gonna have to make my way out there.
Yes, it's really cool. And so we have like the Moby Fest live day that Saturday, which is going to be on June 10th this year. It's like features like a just a bunch of Black queer artists, whether it's like rap, R&B, pop. We have a ballroom segment. We've had some really amazing artists like that have performed. Don Richard performed our first year.
Wow.
Devin Streeter performed our second year, and then we've had like Duran. Um, we've had so many amazing
That's
Black
so
queer
dope.
artists to perform. Seven Deep, Jay Saint, like it's been some really great artists. So we're yeah, we have our Moby Fest that's happening, and then aside from Moby, we have like a on our website we have like our Moby Market, which is like a hub of like Black queer just anything, honestly, from fashion to PR support to whatever, and we also do like partnerships with different like organizations. This year we were able to go to Yale and do like a conversation there earlier this year. And we partner with like the United States Conference on AIDS to host the Moby Talk. So it's it's a really beautiful organization that has now branched and blossomed to support, just Black queerness. So it's really beautiful. And honestly, Moby is like the center of my heart.
That's dope. And man, conversation is so necessary. And I think I felt it for myself, but just seeing the desire and the non-existence of it like just makes me want to one put it more out there. And it's also so dope to see other people doing it. You mentioned the Soho Warehouse earlier.
Yeah.
Myself and an artist by the name of Yanni Blue, we hosted a community conversation just on queer relationships, and so many people showed up, and we tied it from like romantic relationships to platonic to how yourself affects all of this. So it's dope, and I definitely want to share this with people just so more people can get out there and come
Yeah.
to it.
That's
Yeah,
really beautiful, like, because that's where it starts, like,
yeah,
in the community. I think they're like it's beautiful, when individuals have the opportunity to give back and create spaces for us, but I think it's so much more powerful when we work together to figure out how can we, create spaces for us by us, and offer resources
yeah.
to expand and resources to grow. And just so many different amazing opportunities. So yeah, that's really the gist of MOBI. Yeah, I really love it. It's been such a beautiful experience. And also on the YouTube page, in 2020 and 2021, we did like a MOBI Fest virtual experience. So we like literally in 2021 we traveled like from LA to Atlanta to New York and filmed like the artist performances,
Wow.
and like, it was really great. Yeah, it's really cool. So everybody head on over to Mobi MOBI -NYC.com.
That's so dope. Um, so I saw that you were working with GLAAD, and
Mhm.
I was curious just to know more about what you were doing because, like, I know of the organization. I'm sure a lot of people know of the organization, but like, what does your role with GLAAD entail?
So GLAAD, my role within GLAAD is I'm the associate director for communities of color. And so my main role is to honestly ensure accurate representation within Hollywood. And so what that means is I have the opportunity to I have the opportunity to like do screeners on like new shows that are coming out. If it features like LGBTQ plus content. We have our Emmy cohort, which is our Equity and Media Entertainment Initiative, and it features 10 black queer filmmakers. And it's like a year cohort. They each received 10K to go towards like their project to produce. And so we've been working with like UTA and different other amazing like festivals to like just ensure that continued representation. But even aside from like just the work within Hollywood, I work on like a lot of different reports. So like there's a report that we released called the Invisible People Report, which was reporting on HIV rates during the pandemic. So that was really powerful work, and then working on like monkeypox things within like communities of color. So, and then ensuring that, you know, honestly, communities feel represented during like specific heritage months and stuff like that. So it's, um, it's really fun because like with my career of television and film, like now I kind of get to see the lens from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like I was able to produce this series called Changemakers,
Okay.
which is available on YouTube. It's the second season, and it features like four black, trans or non gender non-binary individuals, um, and they talk about their business. It's like a game developer, resources for the trans community. Laisha, who's a WNBA player, the first non-binary WNBA player, and Braxton Fleming, who created like a packaging for the trans community. Like
Oh
it's a really
wow.
great, amazing series. So yeah, like I've been able to really like step behind the scenes and really like produce and navigate and just it's been really fun. It's been really fun thus far.
That's dope. That's dope. And just in all of your work, I see how much you are just contributing to the community. And I'm curious to just know, like, what is your why? Like, what keeps you doing the work that you're doing in all spaces? Because it seems like from your creative work to, the behind the scenes work that you're doing, it's all still rooted in the same thing. So I'm curious to know, like, what keeps you doing it?
Um, mm, I would honestly say, it's for the community, honestly. Because when I like got into like television and film and stuff, a big thing that I wanted to come across with like the projects I was a part of was like, your individuality is your superpower. You can do anything that you put your mind to, let my journey be an example of like just trust the process. Like just literally trust the process. And so honestly, that's what keeps me going, because like each day I get to ensure that we are seen, we have a seat at the table. We, in some spaces, like I'm able to ensure that, like we can show up. And what keeps me going is I want to continue to ensure that we are a part and have access to all spaces, and we feel seen and represented in all spaces. It's no longer an option or, anything of that sort. So, like, yeah, honestly, like the community, it's just, there's so many, we can turn on the TV literally or get on Twitter and see what's trending. And there's so much stuff that can be so depressing. It's so much stuff that can be like, why even bother today? But it's like no, like if you just, I promise, if you just keep going, like just keep going. Like that's my why, honestly. That's
That's what's
my
up.
that's my anchor.
That's dope. So now we're gonna get into a fun segment of the podcast. This is called 5 Questions of Freedom, sponsored by Feel Free to Feel Free. Um, and the first question I have, so these 5 questions you can answer any way you like, but
Okay.
the first question I have for you is um music or acting?
What? When I tell you, I was thinking like cookies or ice cream, or like, I was like, whoa, whoa. What? So what happens? Oh my gosh. Is there not like a third option?
You can answer any way you would like.
Oh my gosh.
No
Music,
context from me.
music or acting. Whoa. Ooh, I'm not ready to solve that yet. So in this season, I would love to have both. I don't know who I'll
Okay.
be talking to, but I would love to have both. Please.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Second question, New York or LA?
LA.
Okay. Why LA?
Um, it's just warmer.
Okay.
It's warmer. When I had an uncle who stayed outside of LA. And so I would come out to like stay with him and drive into LA to audition and stuff. And I would he lived near like Palmdale. I think that's what it's called. Um so I would like drive through like the canyons and just like it was just so beautiful. I would drive down to Malibu. I would just explore the city, honestly. And it was so peaceful during that time, like for myself. And so I don't know, LA has always had like a piece of my heart in terms of like the scenery. Like I love finding spaces to just breathe.
I like that. I like that. It's funny because I'm actually trying to get to New York and spend a little time out there this summer. So
Yeah.
we could switch.
Yeah, yeah.
If you weren't an artist, what would you be doing?
Honestly, I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay. I used to be a
Like,
teacher.
really?
I quit my job last year. But yeah,
What grades did you teach?
I taught pre-K through third grade.
Oh, you had the
I
babies?
did. I did. Teaching them
Oh my
music.
God. What? Oh my God, that's really cool. Yes, I would love to be, a teacher or just in some capacity working with youth.
That's what's up.
Like, I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
That's dope.
Wow.
And I have 2 more questions for you. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Um, hmm. I would tell them that your individuality is your superpower. Like, continue to be you and trust that voice. Yeah.
I like that. And our last question is, what is a reminder that you would like to give to your future self?
Always remember where you came from. Um, and remember the difficult moments so you can be grateful for what you have in this present moment.
Man, that's so real. That's so real. Julian, where can the people find you?
Yes, I'm on social media, Instagram, Julian.Walker, Twitter, I'm on there also. I'm that guy Julian, which is THT, I believe. And then also my website, julianjwalker.com. So yeah, that my website probably houses everything. So
Okay, because
definitely head
I
over.
was gonna say, let the people know where they can find the music, especially
Yes,
if they come in next week to see you perform. Well, it'll when this airs, it'll be this week. So when they hear it,
yes.
but let the people know where they can find the music.
Yes, you can head over to any streaming service. Julian J. Walker. My EP is called Fall 2020. Yes, it's a journey of healing. I hope you enjoy, and I hope it hugs you.
I feel that. And last thing, for people that want to come to the MOBI Talk in Los Angeles, how can they sign up for it?
Yes, so to come and attend Moby Talk Los Angeles, you are most definitely welcome. Please head over to Mobi, MOBI NYC.com for more information, or you can head over to Instagram to Mobi NYC.
That's what's up. Julian, thank
Yes.
you so much for coming on the show.
You are very welcome. Thank you so much for this, like this moment and this moment of how am I handling my mental health, this
Yeah,
intentional moment of community talking and just, yeah, so thank you. And for what you do for the community,
I appreciate that.
this is a very beautiful and intentional space. Um, and I thank you so much for your intention in creating it.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank y'all for tuning in. This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Peace.